In the biggest and most talked about transfer in the basketball world this summer, Yam Madar is moving to Maccabi Tel Aviv, and Tamir Blatt is making the opposite journey to Hapoel Tel Aviv. And before I talk about things on a professional level, let's talk about the basic facts first. And in plain factual terms, the contracts that both of them received are completely out of proportion to anything we've known here in Israeli sports until now, not just in basketball. Yam Madar is expected to earn over $2 million, likely more with bonuses. Tamir Blatt 1.6, and again, don't hold me to the exact $100,000, which is a lot of money. Every $100,000 is a lot, but until 2 years ago, these were amounts you would look at only for top EuroLeague players to bring here to Israel. So let's start with the obvious question. Are these players top EuroLeague players? I want to separate Yam Madar from Tamir Blatt and also distinguish the Israeli League from the European League, since the Israeli League has a different significance and player level. The story begins with Yam Madar, who joined Hapoel Tel Aviv last year to help them reach the EuroLeague. He came and even risked his body at the end of the season, played injured, and honestly, I have to tell you, he earned a lot of respect from me, both as a player and as a person when he did that, because it's the kind of thing that reminds you of the athletes from back in the day who would go out and play even when it was dangerous, even when it could hurt their career, when his dream was always to make it to the NBA, and if not, to be a top EuroLeague player. And in my opinion, from what I feel, he felt that at Hapoel Tel Aviv he could do it, and he even managed to take them there. I can even add on an emotional level that I believe he thinks he deserved to do it. He deserved more playing time with his home team where he grew up than the 13 minutes he averaged at Partizan Belgrade and at Fenerbahce. Still, he had EuroLeague experience. Not a top player or starter, but he had EuroLeague experience and played 12 minutes at Bayern Munich. And then, specifically at Hapoel Tel Aviv, which was built to reach the playoffs, where he put himself at risk to help them get there, he played less than 10 minutes per game on average. So I'll start by saying that, in my opinion, he's moving to Maccabi Tel Aviv not because Maccabi Tel Aviv offered him more money, because they didn't, and not because Maccabi Tel Aviv is a better team in the EuroLeague right now, because they're not. They finished below Hapoel Tel Aviv. It's simply because Maccabi Tel Aviv is the team that can guarantee him the ball will be in his hands, and I assume he'll play at least 20 minutes per game on average at the EuroLeague level. Now, what Maccabi Tel Aviv needs to ask themselves on the other hand is that Yam Madar hasn't been a top EuroLeague player so far, but he's definitely a player on the rise whose peak is still ahead of him. He's only 25 years old and he still has at least 9 or 10 years to give at the EuroLeague level. The question is whether Maccabi Tel Aviv sees him as someone who can already lead them to being a EuroLeague play-in team. I'm not even talking playoffs, just that with the right roster built around him since they're paying him accordingly. And that's even before I get into employer expenses, which they probably didn't have for an American player, but they do for a player who's Israeli. They have to pay more for him. And here he's getting a contract like an American star who comes as a foreigner and is the face of the team, plus employer expenses, plus the fact that you have to take into account that there are other Maccabi Tel Aviv players who will see these amounts. And that first creates instability in the locker room, and second makes other players want to get paid accordingly. Because if there's a player who will produce better results than Yam Madar, it doesn't even have to be a guard, it could be a forward or a center. He'll look at Yam Madar and say, hey, why is he getting 2 and I'm only getting, I don't know, 800,000? And that's even before I talk about Roman Sorkin, who in my opinion is the most game-changing Israeli at the local level. So from Maccabi Tel Aviv's perspective, they went all in here with a move that could also complicate things for them in the coming years, but they definitely beat Hapoel Tel Aviv. Their most valuable asset was lost, but I think Hapoel Tel Aviv is mainly to blame. Not because Ofer Yanai didn't offer money, but because they didn't give him what he truly wanted. Basketball isn't all about money, and Madar got a great deal. Good for him, he deserves it. If he negotiated well, he earned it. It doesn't affect me, it's not my money. But again, it's not all about money. He could have earned more at Hapoel Tel Aviv, but chose status instead. He wanted to be a true EuroLeague player, not underestimated or taken for granted, and as an athlete, I completely understand him. In my opinion, it's nonsense to say he's joining Maccabi Tel Aviv because of Katash. If he had received status, respect, and trust from Itudis at the EuroLeague level, and they hadn't brought in 20 guards for his position, I don't think he would have left Hapoel Tel Aviv, especially with a higher offer there. In my opinion, Katash can improve him a lot, and Katash is a coach I really respect. He can truly turn Yam Madar into a EuroLeague star. I don't think Madar moved because of Katash. Instead, I see a scenario where Madar says he also has a chance to flourish and get minutes under Katash because Katash believes in him. People ultimately want understanding, not just money. Locally, Maccabi Tel Aviv keeps winning big despite Hapoel Tel Aviv's money and growing strength. They win the double this year and also take Yam Madar, who was the jewel of Hapoel Tel Aviv, which really I think in the end is what truly hurts the fans, that he didn't choose them and preferred to go to Maccabi Tel Aviv. But I think that even a lot of Hapoel Tel Aviv fans, unlike other cases we've seen in Israeli sports in the past, actually understand him, understand why, and realize that it wasn't just about money and greed, but really a desire to compete. The open question that remains here is whether Yam Madar will be able to rise to the status of a EuroLeague star. If so, Maccabi Tel Aviv has gained a lot here, and I'll tell you more than that. Even Israeli basketball as a whole will benefit greatly. Because in the end, the very fact that we have two Israeli teams in the EuroLeague is nice and great. I was really happy that Hapoel Tel Aviv made it to the EuroLeague because it also raises the level here and gives more opportunities for Israelis to play. It lets Israelis experience top European levels, but if they don't play, it doesn't benefit them much. We need to have two teams in the EuroLeague so that when there are Israelis at the level of Yam Madar, they'll have the place and the platform to play and gain experience at the highest level. If that's what he'll get at Maccabi Tel Aviv, I think he chose correctly. And the reason, in my opinion, that he truly believes in this is because he saw Tamir Blatt, the other player who crossed the road and moved to Hapoel Tel Aviv, or to be precise, returned to Hapoel Tel Aviv, and you can see his stats with Maccabi Tel Aviv in the EuroLeague. He joined after 2 years at Alba Berlin, not a EuroLeague powerhouse, then spent 3 years at Maccabi Tel Aviv, averaging nearly 20 minutes per game each year, and even 24 minutes 2 years ago. That means this is a player with EuroLeague experience who has proven his productivity at the EuroLeague level, especially when it comes to passing, creating, and three-point shooting. No one doubts he has those skills. Yam Madar believes he can fill that role, while Tamir Blatt is expected to take over Yam Madar's position at Hapoel. I'm sure Tamir Blatt will play many minutes and be a key part of Hapoel Tel Aviv in the Israeli League, especially now that Yam Madar is gone, because they need that Israeli player at the local level, and most likely this shift, let's say, benefits Maccabi Tel Aviv more professionally on the local front, and maybe hurts Hapoel Tel Aviv locally, because in the end, compared to Tamir Blatt, Yam Madar is a more complete player. In my view, Tamir Blatt is a better passer and possibly a better long-range shooter, but his arrival raises immediate concerns, especially about his defense next to Micic, who hasn't defended well this year. Hapoel will have to cover for him with other players, and there are also talks about Schwartz and so on. I don't know how this backcourt will work defensively. Offensively, they'll probably find the solutions. But in the end, as strange as it may sound, I feel that despite all the media story and the buzz around it, everyone lost in this situation. On one hand, Yam Madar and Tamir Blatt are getting big contracts out of necessity since there aren't other players available and Israeli players are needed to win locally as Maccabi and Hapoel want to outdo each other. Alright, there's a story here. But we're going to spend so much money on Israeli players who aren't necessarily worth that money elsewhere. And when I say worth that money elsewhere, I mean Yam Madar and Tamir, 2 million euros or 1.5 million euros, whatever, somewhere around that. You're paying, alright, there's a story here. Player prices in Israel will likely rise due to this deal, hurting all teams except Maccabi Tel Aviv, Hapoel Tel Aviv, and possibly Hapoel Jerusalem. But what's most clear to me from this story is that this won't be the last time. It's clear that since Maccabi Tel Aviv won with Yam Madar, Hapoel Tel Aviv will likely try to recruit a player from Maccabi Tel Aviv or Hapoel Jerusalem next time. This petty culture in Israeli basketball makes it hard to watch. Add to that what's happening now with the national team, and everyone is only busy with comparisons. Oh, but Maccabi did this and Hapoel did that and Jerusalem did that, and it's no wonder the fans have been calling it an after-school club in recent years because of the way things are run. And the fact that a lot of money is coming into Israeli basketball doesn't mean it's not an after-school club, it just means it's an expensive club with a lot of money. I'll end with something a good friend recently told me that opened my eyes. He said, imagine if soccer club owners spent all day on Twitter attacking each other and trying to steal players through trickery. How would people react? Yet they call Israeli soccer unprofessional. This is what we have, and we'll keep loving it. We have no choice. Thanks for watching, friends. Share your thoughts in the comments. I'm Yisrael Chai. Alright, bye.